on, man. There was a 7-on-7 football tournament that happened down in Atlanta about a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
And Cam Newton got into a little bit of a scuffle with a couple of guys that were, come to find out, were former, I want to call them employees, but former, that's the only thing I can say right now, for lack of a better word, former employees of his charity C1N. And some words were exchanged and a scuffle ensued. And to the point where, it's been memed and the clips have been passed around the internet. Cam Newton had his Mashika hat not falling off and how he was kind of quote unquote manhandling these guys. So he actually came out and he actually was kind of but we're not here to spin a narrative. We're here to start a conversation. But
for sure,
Cam Newton came out on his fourth and one with Cam yesterday and kind of he apologized and said he shouldn't have put himself in that situation. And the two dudes also, who's is it TJ or CJ? I think it's TJ Brown and Steph Brown.
TJ.
Two brothers. They went on another podcast as well and apologized and whatever. So it just seems like it was a lot of tension and a lot of words passed back and forth, shit talk basically, to where stuff just got out of hand. D-Lo, is this are they right about Cam Newton as far as his altercation, and is this only likely to happen in our community?
So when you say are they right about Cam Newton, what do you mean?
So there's been a lot of talk around Cam and his persona and his attitude and how he's arrogant and this, that, and the third. So with this coming out, as far as this scuffle that happened at the 7-on-7 tournament, are people right about Cam and how his attitude is?
I got you. Yeah. So I mean,
he's competitive though, because whenever I was on the field too, I talk shit. I only spoke when spoken too. Like if you talking shit to me, now I gotta bust your ass. That's just how I was. But other than that, I was quiet. Cam is a lot more of a talker. His personality is to talk shit. That's what he do. You know what I'm saying? So he's not gonna just back down if somebody's coming at him. He gonna go back. And I'm the same way. I can't say I'm not like Cam because I am in some ways. But if you ain't talking to me, I ain't talking to you. But
right.
Go ahead. I ain't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. Do your thing.
Nah, you good. So I think Cam is one of those individuals that is ultra confident in his talent. And so being the fact that he is ultra confident in his talent, whether he's the Cam Newton in 2015 that was Super Bowl MVP, or he's the Cam Newton that we saw that hasn't been in the league since this point. I think his last team he's played with was he came back to the Panthers, but he actually played with New England. Whether he was that Cam, he's going to talk junk. That's just who he is. As far as him being arrogant, I wouldn't say he's arrogant.
Arrogant and confidence, two different things. I agree.
Yeah. Arrogant and confidence, two different things. I mean, people said Kobe Bryant was arrogant. But when he was on the court, he was Kobe Bryant, right? And so we hear all these stories about how Kobe, and this is not about Kobe, but I'm trying to tie the two together. We hear all these stories about how, and I'm not saying Cam Newton is in the realm of Kobe Bryant either. I'm just, again, trying to tie them together.
Right.
We hear all these stories about how Kobe used to treat his teammates and whatnot. You don't hear that about Cam Newton per se with his teammates. With opponents, yes. With people that he don't really know, yes. And when he's in a competitive environment, yes, you hear these type of things. Off the field or off the wherever he's competing at, you don't typically hear stories about Cam Newton being arrogant. Your second question was, is this something that happens
in our community?
In our community? So I can't say unequivocally yes, but it seems to be the answer is yes. And the reason I can't say definitively yes is because I don't have the privilege of being around other cultures and understanding how they deal with each other, understanding how they do business and whatnot.
Right.
I am a part of our culture, and for whatever reason, it only seems like we hear about these type of incidents in our culture. And I can't determine if that is just from proximity, being a part of that culture, or is it just really just us doing this type of things. So this is an extreme version, but it looks like if you take a look back, not this particular situation, but let's just say if this could have gotten worse, we can compare it to extreme situations that have happened in our culture in the last couple years. You got the Nipsey situation. You got the Offset situation. You got and Cam mentioned this on his podcast.
The takeoff situation.
Takeoff. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Takeoff. I'm sorry. I said Offset. My fault. But yeah, takeoff situation. So it only seems like our celebrities are the one that are getting their lives taken from them by somebody in their community, and so you don't really. I mean, if you go back and they'll set that same time frame, I'm willing to say other cultures, other celebrities, athletes, entertainers, in their culture, in those other cultures, willing to say they've not lost their life from somebody in their community taking it, maybe for some other stuff, some other activity that they were doing, but not necessarily any violence or altercation that they had. So I can't unequivocally say, yes, it is only our community, but it just seems like it.
Yeah, I mean, because I actually did you watch 4th and 1 yesterday? Did you end up watching it or not?
I saw his little snippet where he was apologizing.
Yeah, he actually said in the podcast yesterday that he thought, he was like, come on, this is it's always us, like, type thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I don't think we, just like D-Lo said, I can't sit here and say unequivocally that it's just our community, you know what I'm saying, the Black community. I'm just fucking just go ahead and say it, that is always something like that happens to us. I think, and I've said this probably in the past 2-3 episodes, we're just such a proud community, bro. Like, we're not gonna let somebody just talk crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta defend ourselves. We're not just gonna let somebody talk crazy. No matter if you Black, white, yellow, blue, purple, it don't matter. Like, we gonna make sure that you understand that who we are and what we do, what we're about. We got to make sure that. But to Cam's point as well, from watching the show yesterday, he was like, yo, I gotta make I gotta lead. He basically saying he gotta lead more by example, because that could have escalated so much crazier. Just like you said,
right.
Somebody could have been shot. He could have been punched and knocked unconscious. But it's more so just him being able to set that example for the kids. And now that this happened, he can use this as an example for that 5-star recruit that wants to go to the NFL and say, hey, look at this right here as an example of what not to do. Like, you got to make sure you keep a level head and not put yourself in a position where you can jeopardize your future, because he's doing this for the community, and he enjoys being out there with the kids and talking to them like, hey, big bro, and, you know, talk about ladies and talk about life and talk about, you know, struggle and how you know, going through adversity and trying to teach the kids. But this was a situation of adversity that escalated to a point that he didn't want it to escalate, but it got there. So now he can use it as an example. But at the same sense, apologizing to those guys, because they were close to his foundation at one point, and it just happened to get a little bit heightened. And he didn't go into details as far as what was said and why it got to the point where it got. He just basically like, yo, I apologize to those guys, and it shouldn't have got there. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
You know, shout out to Cam for, because if anybody watches 4th and 1 with Cam Newton, he said this year is about standing on business and holding himself and other people accountable. And this was a level of accountability that you probably in past years might not have seen from Cam, because Cam is very outspoken. He's going to defend himself. He's going to make sure you know what viewpoint he's at. And this is a level of accountability that I applaud Cam for, because he said, man, you know, this is, if you want to blame somebody, blame me. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Cam for that, bro, because he could have came out and said, nah, man, fuck them niggas, and blah, blah, blah. But he was like, yo, this it's on me. Put it on me. So shout out to Cam.
But knowing the type of person that Cam is, I knew he wouldn't go that route. I knew he wouldn't have said what you just said. Came back on his podcast and pointed the finger, and the Cam gets a bad rap later in his career for how he acted after the Super Bowl and all those questions.
Agreed.
He avoided it, right? But Cam is not a bad dude from what I know, right? He's not a bad dude. And so he definitely wasn't going to take that route. Now, I didn't think he would take this amount of accountability for it, saying it was completely his fault, right? And he shouldn't have put himself in that situation and all that, so on and so forth. Shouldn't let it escalate to that point.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely not that type of dude. I do have a question for you.
What up?
Let me ask you this. Why do you think it seems like jealousy runs rampant in the Black community?
What I've been talking about the last 4-5 episodes, bro, it's just pride, bro. Like, it's one of those things where, and we also talked about the crab in the barrel situation, bro. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, and it's just me, society right now is just pumping a state of, I'm gonna use the word propaganda, but that's just me, lack of a better phrase, lack of a better term, that you have to keep up with the Joneses. So it's like, what other person has, our community sometimes can be too proud to give that person props, but to go behind closed doors and say, I can get that too, I want that too. He ain't the only motherfucker that can have them Mashika hats and be all fly and do this and that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like jealousy is one of those things where, if I'm, to me, it just makes no sense. We in all communities, honestly, not just in our community, but in all communities, you have to be able to get to a point in your life where you're comfortable enough to say congratulations to you. Even if you're not comfortable in yours, you can congratulate the next man. So it's that's just hate. The jealousy is just hate. Being a hater ain't nothing but another word for you being jealous of somebody because they got something you don't, or they in a position that you ain't. So stop the hate. Basically, just get to a point where you can be comfortable enough to say, "Yo, congrats." Everybody can win, bro. There's enough out here for everybody to get it. So just go get it,
Right.
bro. Like, stop. Don't be jealous. I mean, it's just jealousy to me is whack. I can't say I've never been jealous, but I can always say that I've never outwardly said or really hated on something that somebody close to me has had. I just went and got it myself. Or he got this,
Right.
okay, I can hustle and get it too, type shit. So nah, hate is some clown, some sucker shit for real. But what you think?
So before I say what I'm gonna say, I can relate to what you said as far as hating on somebody that's close to me. Now we've had conversations, especially as we try to blow this podcast up. I always compare us to two types. I compare us to people that I see similar to us, and I compare us to people that have made it before. Like, so I always compare us to Joe Budden and how they're doing, Shannon Sharp and his podcast. And then as of lately, I've been trying to find others in that I feel are very much us, and just try to see what sets them apart from us.
Right.
So, and I don't think that's hate. That's just basically doing our due diligence and making sure that we're on par, right?
Facts.
It can be seemed as hate when I'm like, man, these dudes ain't, these dudes ain't no different than us,
Right.
Why are they doing this? So it can seem like hate, but no, it's really just me comparing to each other. But as far as why it seems like jealousy runs rampant in the Black community, I think the positions that we aim for are extremely limited. And so being the fact that they're extremely limited, when one person makes it and everybody in that community was aiming for that position, jealousy is going to hit.
Yeah.
So it seems like being an athlete, an entertainer, whether that be a rapper, singer, actress, you name it, is what they promote for the Black community.
Right.
We know that's not the case, but it's just what it seems like. Example would be the NBA and the NFL. NBA, NFL, the percentage of Blacks in those leagues, NBA is 70.4, NFL is 56.54, 56.4. Let me see. Yeah. So the NBA is 70.4, NFL is 56.4. Very disproportionate when you think about our percentage of the population. We're 13-14% of the population. However, we make up a vast majority of these leagues. And these leagues are on television all the time. So when you talk about representation matters, you're starting to see it now. And I hate to play the race card, but this is what it is. This is what we see. So sometimes what we see can turn into our reality. So you see individuals that look like us playing sports or rapping or whatnot all the time, that's what I want to be. That's what I want to aim for, because that looks like something that my people do.
Right.
In other cultures, you see them doing other stuff. So I feel like those sports positions that everybody, or those entertainment positions that everybody seems like in our culture is aiming for, is extremely limited. And when it's limited, that means maybe 1, 2, maybe will make it.
Right.
And then you make it, you come back, and it's like, nah, bro, you made it. I didn't. I did the same thing you did. Something small happened in my life where I couldn't do the same. I couldn't continue to do what you did. So now I'm back here, and you out there doing that. You doing something that I wanted to do. So that's just where it comes from. Yeah, I mean, Cole said it in his song, in one of his songs, blame it on the fact that every black boy want to be Pippen, but they only got 12 slots on the Pistons.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I mean, that's all it is. I think the position that we aim for is extremely limited. That's all.
Agreed. But yeah, I think Cam. I like I said, I applaud Cam for taking the high road. Are you saying that this confrontation stream from jealousy, or nah? It's not what you're saying.
That's not necessarily what I'm saying, but it can be seen that way. I mean, I think because we have so many former players, individuals of the culture that have a platform that can voice their opinions now freely without really having to worry about it being suppressed by the powers that be. It was a question that was out there in the public, is why is this seem to only happen in the black community, like with our stars, our celebrities. Like the main thing that was said was you wouldn't have seen this happen at a Peyton and Eli Manning camp. Like it happened to be Cam Newton, right? And so to me, that can only be one thing, is
jealousy or hate.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Not saying that this situation stemmed from jealousy, but because we know, like you said, our community is prideful, but there is a crabs in the barrel mentality in our community as well. And so it's always, well, why are the crabs in the barrel in the first place? And that's where so anytime I say something, I'm like, okay, but that's not the true issue. What is the true issue? And so we have to figure out why are people like this. I don't have the solutions for it, but you got to look bigger. You got to start small and then look bigger. And so we just got to figure out why it is, or why we feel this way about certain characteristics of our community.
Facts. Oh, you still here? That must mean you love the content. And if that is the case, there's a video on the screen right here. Make sure you click that, view that. We think you're going to love that one as well. And also, we still have the goal of 600 subscribers. So if you would, please hit the button on the screen right there to subscribe to the channel. And we're on all your streaming platforms, wherever you find your podcast.